Hey gang, Kalendros here. I wanted to do a little introduction to the site. I actually recorded a video earlier today, like a test video, and not going to use that because there were some things in it that I wasn't happy with how they came out, but it was a trial run. What I did want to do with this video was sort of explain what my intent here is with this, so people can watch this and make a decision about whether or not this is the kind of thing that would interest them. So what I'm going to be doing here is basically breaking down music. There's a lot of different reaction channels out there on YouTube that hit different spectrums. Some break down the lyrics. Some are for people who have never seen like metal before, or whatever music style they're reacting to. So the intent here on this channel is to take a song, break it down musically, and kind of dissect it from that standpoint. I don't want to be looking at, I will be looking at the lyrics, but not in a really in-depth sense. If you guys want to get a real deep dive into the lyrics, channels like Vin and Sori really get into that. If you want that pure first reaction, Lost in Vegas has some really great ones. So there's channels out there for those sort of things. This is really about taking a look at the music from a musician's perspective. I've been playing guitar for about 16 years. One of the videos I will do is probably a look at the different guitars and stuff that I have. I don't have that many anymore because I've more or less kind of stopped playing at this point. I mean, I still play, but just sort of, whatever. But I have sold off quite a couple things in my collection. But I thought I would be able to provide an interesting look, and everyone's always telling me, Chris, you really love music. You should you should do one of these reaction channel things. And I didn't really know what I had to offer in that space because there's so many channels that do it well. But I think the one thing that I do have is an interesting perspective on how the music is put together. So that's really what the focus of this channel is going to be. These aren't going to be all reacts. There's going to be some that'll be reacts, the first time reacts for me. But the one that I did earlier today was a first time react. But they're going to be more for the breakdown perspective. So some of them will be songs that I know very well, but I want to give some interesting insight into a song that I find to be compositionally interesting. So look for stuff like that, as well as new reactions, and I will tag them when I upload them as either a reaction or a breakdown. If it's just a breakdown, then you know that it's one that I've heard before. If it's a react, it's one that I've not heard before. And so those videos, the react videos, will probably be a little bit longer because I have to spend a little bit more time trying to feel out the lyrics and stuff. And I think the one that I did earlier today was Neabla Viscaris' Icicles Fall. And I think I spent probably about 35 minutes on that one. The video was 35 minutes. I mean, I think the breakdown was quicker than, your typical video from some of the more in-depth channels. I think, it depends on what you're looking at. And certainly song length matters as well. But the song was 9 and change, almost 10 minutes long. And I think I probably talked about it for about 20 minutes, and then I had about a good 15-minute intro, so the video was probably fairly lengthy. But my issue with the video was there were some things that were just not like um, not 100% what I was looking for. But I will probably re-record that one because the song was phenomenal. I had never heard it before, so it was a first time reaction. I'm very familiar with Nea Blivascaris, but this was one that had. It was weird because it's from an album I own. I own Portal of I, and um, I own it digitally, and I think that's part of the problem. I somehow missed this song, because a lot of times I'll have stuff on shuffle, in the car or whatever. So I missed that one. And so I found out there were two songs on that album that I actually had never listened to. So As Icicles Fall was one of them. So that was a new one for me. Definitely will be doing more stuff like that. Expect Vector, you know, Nea Blivascaris, Allegion, a lot of the stuff that people associate with like really complex stuff, probably some Dream Theater, um, but also some stuff that people don't necessarily hit a lot of times. There's a lot of reaction channels that are doing Nea Blivascaris, and then of course the greats like Metallica, Megadeth, etc. And it's cool that bands like Nea Blivascaris are getting noticed by these reaction channels, and they believe me, they need the support. Bands like Nea Blivascaris, um, they have a Patreon, and if you really like the band, I would strongly recommend, you know, checking out their Patreon and supporting them because these bands are not making any money for the most part, um, and yet are providing just unbelievable stuff. So, but I wanted to also shine a light on some of these bands that are lesser known bands that are equally as good, if not better, than a lot of the more well known ones. Like a prime example is Hebria, which I will probably be reacting to next. And a lot of people have probably never heard of Hebria. They've been around a long time, but their first two albums were actually the ones that were good. They've had albums since, they were okay, but the first two albums were really groundbreaking in the power metal space because of their technicality, which is not something you typically associate with power metal. I mean, you've got the silly stuff like Dragon Force, but I mean, in terms of almost a technical thrash-like approach to the music. So that'll be pretty cool. I think if you've never heard of Hebria or some newer bands like Eternity's End, I think it'll be a real treat for you guys if you've not heard them before. So I just kind of wanted to give people an idea of what to expect and what not to expect from this channel. So probably tomorrow there will be some stuff that gets uploaded. I'm going to probably try and shoot a couple videos tomorrow, and those will be like I'll probably shoot several for the week and then upload them, throughout. I'm going to try and do one a day. The way for me, like I'll have times where like I have plenty of time to do stuff, but you know, obviously this is not going to be a gig I get paid for because unlike some reaction channels, I'm not going to be doing um, stop start. We're going to listen to the song. I understand why those channels do that because that's how they get money. They get monetized if they can avoid the copyright. So that's why every 10 or 15 seconds, they pause or parts of the song will get cut out. It's to avoid getting their monetization shut down. And that is perfectly legitimate in my opinion because you're creating content. Yes, it is somebody else's song, but you are creating content as well. So, I mean, it's not like YouTube is giving you big money. So I think it's perfectly reasonable for those people to expect to get paid. And then you have some channels who they don't care. I am one of those channels. I don't care if I get paid for it. This is just something I'm doing because I love the music. there will be talking over the song. That was one of the things I was trying to adjust. It came across when I listened back to the video as the volume for me, my mic volume was higher than the song, so I need to adjust it slightly a little bit, make the song a little bit louder, my voice slightly lower, so they're more even. I mean, I want people to be able to understand me over, not get drowned out by the music, but at the same time, I also want people to be able to hear the music too, since I'm not stopping it. So I am trying to keep talking during the song to a minimum, but I do want to highlight certain things as they occur in the song because it's hard to remember, especially with like a 15-minute song, where that transition was and what happened specifically during that transition. So there'll be some really interesting stuff, I hope, with that. And if this at all sounds interesting to you, then welcome to the channel. Right now, this is what you've got in terms of the quality. My mic is pretty decent, but I don't have like a fancy backdrop or anything, and then I very likely will never have a fancy backdrop. My hope is that at some point the webcam can get upgraded, so I'd like a better visual presentation. So there is that, but you probably aren't going to see a backdrop or like a green screen or anything like that. I can't really do that in my current situation, so I'm just, want to set expectations. So that's what we've got. I hope it's interesting to you guys, and maybe I will see you very soon. So peace out. Have a good one.